welcome to the fourth week of your Pilates section of your weekly video boosters. Today we're going to work mostly on our front. So we're going to do a lot of the exercises that work the back, upper back, especially into extension, plus the leg exercises that help to extend the hip and work the glutes and the lower back together to get that hip extension. And one of the most important things when we're lying down on our front is making sure that your alignment is correct. And that means the way that you're positioning the pelvis, the way that you're positioning the ribs, and the way that you're making sure that you're working the abdominals in order to hold the whole core in towards your back so that you don't hyperextend your lower back. So I'm going to go ahead and lie down on your front and then see how the positioning affects your spine. So if I'm lying down here just on my front relaxed, you can see that I've got a strong curve right here in the middle of my spine, just at the bottom of my rib cage. So in this position, that's quite a sharp angle here. The rest of my back, you can see, makes a straight line all the way to the top and a straight line up to the top of my tailbone. I'm wiggling around here. So what I'm doing here is really hinging into the back, which can create quite a lot of soreness, and it means that you're not getting any benefit from the good extension that you're aiming for. So just resting down on the floor now, with your hands underneath your shoulders, as if you're going to push yourself up into a press up. Hands here, elbows up to the ceiling, and allow your shoulders to roll right forwards. You can have your forehead touching the mat so that you've got a long back of your neck. And then from this position, we're going to roll the elbows down towards the feet. When we roll the elbows down towards the feet, it's going to draw the shoulder blades and the shoulders with you so that they draw in towards your spine and down towards the lower back. So your shoulder blades roll down and back and give your neck lots of space. From here, what we can do is start to lengthen out the whole spine so that you're growing the top of your head and the whole of your spine out in front of you. So you're drawing your elbows down and back, and you're reaching out through the top of your head. And that's going to give you a really lovely feeling of length. And as you lengthen out through the top of your head and keep on rolling your elbows down your back, you're starting to press into the hands a little bit more and coming up just a little bit higher. Now you can come up to just where you're comfortable before you have to start really pushing into your hands to push you up, and then roll back down until you rest on the floor. Let your shoulders go, let your elbows roll up to the ceiling. So what we're going to do is do that another few times and progress the amount that you're coming up through the upper back so that you're aiming to come up approximately to, if you can get your arms straight, that's amazing. If you can't get your arms straight, it's absolutely fine to get to about here where your elbows are bent, but you're still able to control the position of your back without shaking and juddering, and then just roll all the way down from there. There's no points for getting all the way up. That doesn't make any difference. The idea is what capacity you're working with your spine today, right now. So, going again with the same movement, drawing the elbows down the back, allowing the shoulders to roll down towards your back pockets. Lengthen through your whole spine as you start to come up. And as you're doing that movement, you should really feel the muscles in the upper back from between your shoulder blades to your mid-spine, working strongly to extend your spine and lift your chest from the floor. And as you start to come up a little bit higher, Start to press into the hands, and then whenever you want to, roll back down. So again, you can do the same thing again, let your shoulders go, and then draw your elbows down, shoulders roll down your back pockets, lengthen through your spine to come up, and control all the way back down, and release. One more time. Roll the elbows, roll the shoulders, lengthen the spine, and coming all the way up, making sure all the work is staying into the upper back, your shoulder blades are staying down, and you're working through the upper back, and you're not feeling that same pinch and hinge in your lower back. Now, if you'd like to add on a feeling of the breath, breathing in as you go up really helps to get that feeling of open in the chest. So you can breathe out to prepare and roll your elbows down, and breathe in to come all the way up, breathe out to roll all the way down. So we'll just do that one more time, building in that breath to go along with it. So, little breath in to prepare. Breathing out, rolling the elbows down, drawing the shoulders with it. Breathing in. Breathing out. All the way down. Breathe in to pause. And you can repeat again, breathing out, getting the elbows to go. So as we're coming up, you notice that I didn't talk about how you were going to use your abdominals. Now you can use your abdominals in order to help you get the feeling that your whole spine is coming up smoothly together. You want to imagine that the line that your spine is taking when you're in an extension is almost like the flight path, the takeoff path of a plane. So the plane starts down, trundles along, and as it starts to come up, it's got a smooth curve all the way up. And that's what you want to be feeling as well. So starting from your sacrum, there's a smooth curve, and then as we start to come up, there isn't a point at which there's a hinge. There isn't a point at which all of a sudden one vertebra moves more than the one behind it. So each vertebra picks up piece by piece by piece by piece by piece all the way up until you get a smooth curve all the way up to the back of your head. And remember, still getting that feeling of lifting and reaching out to the top of the head. So with your abdominals, as you're coming up, think about lifting the skin of the lower belly and the belly button up from the mat so you get that strength from the front of the body to allow the spine to move smoothly. If you let the abdominals go at the front, you're much more likely to hinge and get that that awkward pattern with your spine. So let's do that one more time. We've got the breath built in, and now we're just going to start thinking and being a little bit more conscious of the way that the abdominals are going to help you come up. So, a little breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, roll the elbows down, roll the shoulders down, start to lengthen, breathing in to come up, lifting through the abdominals, feeling the lower belly draw up from the mat. And as you breathe out, you can draw the belly button into the spine even more to keep that strength in the back and roll all the way down. Great. So that is an exercise called swan dive. It's a preparation for the full swan dive exercise. It's a lovely extension to do if you were lying down at any time and you're able to lie down on the front. Maybe you can, if you're writing something, it's always nice to change your position. So if you're sitting down making some notes or writing something down, writing down some ideas, something like that, just go down onto your front and write in this position, making sure that you're lifting your tummy and opening through the chest to get a good smooth extension through the whole back. Okay, so you can make it into a functional exercise that will help you to get out of that sitting position that we so often get stuck in. So now we can build up the exercises, the other exercises that we can do on the front. Now what I want you to do is go down onto your front, but with your hands underneath your head. So your hands can either be stacked on top of each other, or you can make 2/5 on top of each other and rest your forehead down like that. Either way is absolutely fine. It's whatever's more comfortable for your chest and your head. From this position, we can start to work the legs a little bit. While you're lying in this position, just be conscious of what's going on with your ribs, your belly, and the fronts of your hips. So sometimes our hips are so tight that lying down, we still don't actually even get them flat at the front here. So what I want you to do is just have an idea of what's going on in front of the hips and see whether you can allow the legs to lengthen out a little bit more, enough to be able to get the hips flat if they're not already. And also feel if your lower ribs are really flat and pressed into the floor. See whether we can get that feeling that we've been working on with the rib alignment, just so that the ribs are lifting up a little bit more, so they're not pushing into the mat. And as you lift your ribs up and open out the front of your hips, you might also feel that your lower back starts to open and widen, so that you don't get a crunching hinge. So lengthening the lower back, lengthening the tailbone down towards the backs of the feet, opening the fronts of the hips, and getting a little bit of a lift in the lower rib cage as well. From this position with your head rested, nice and simple to begin with, we're going to start by lifting one leg and coming back down, keeping the integrity of what's going on in the front of the body. Lift and down, alternating side to side, lift and down, making sure your leg is straight as it comes up, so you've got a strong thigh muscles, and we're keeping the shoulders and the upper back wide and open all the way through. Now we can add on to this exercise. So we're going to lift the leg and we're going to rotate the leg out so that your toes are pointing out to the side. Rotate the leg back into parallel with your toes pointing down to the floor and come back down. So lift, rotate, rotate back to parallel and come back down. Press, open, rotate, down, press, open, rotate, down. One more time. And you might want to add the breathing so that you breathe in to lift the leg up, breathe out to rotate the leg, because it takes a little bit more effort to really work through that hip. And keep on breathing out as you rotate back in, and breathe in to rest. Something like that. Go with the breath, make sure you keep breathing, but work on what breath pattern is best for you. So now we can add on to that a little bit more. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to bend one knee. We're going to press the leg up and stretch through that leg to straighten it out and come back down. So breathing out, breathing in. Keep breathing in as you lengthen through that whole leg and come back down. Out, in, out, in, breathe and control, out, in and control. So with that exercise, because we're pressing up very strongly with the leg and we're going into some hip extension, so this hip extension where you're bringing the knee higher than the hip. What you want to make sure of is that we're not hinging into the back in order to be able to get the leg up. What we want is for the movement to be controlled from the lower abdominals and from the back, the glutes here, so that the stronger you lift up through the lower abdominals, the more controlled the hip extension is. So as we go out, we're not getting that anywhere near into the back. It's all coming from the strength in the hamstrings and the glutes and the lower back, and come back down. So strong lift, 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 lift through the abdominals and come down. So with those 2 leg exercises, what we can then do is start to add a little bit of speed. So we can do an exercise that looks similar to swimming. So dry land swimming, whatever we want to call it. You've got the arms stretched out in front of you. You've got your head down, and you've got your legs nice and long out behind you. Exactly the same setup. Think about the way that we're opening the fronts of the hips. Think about the way we're lifting up through the lower rib cage. And from here, we're going to lift opposite arm and leg and come back down. Opposite arm and leg and come back down. And we're going to keep on lifting opposite arm and leg up and down, resting the other one down on the floor for the moment. So as we keep on going through, keep on being conscious of the lower rib cage, the lower abdominals, the belly button, keeping on working to lift up so that your spine is supported the whole time. And rest there. Now the full swimming exercise has the head and chest up off the floor, so it's just a little way, coming from here, lift it up, lengthen the back of the neck, so it's not with the chin raised, lengthen the back of the neck here. Now from there, we lift the opposite arm and leg up, and then when we swap, they're only going to come down a little way and the opposite one's going to lift. So everything is off the floor the whole time. And we're keeping the opposite arm and leg moving nice and strong, lower abdominals, the rib cage all in control for the alignment at the front, and all the work is through the back of the body. Keep on breathing. And rest there. Good. So those exercises will really help to get this idea of how we open through here and how we use the front of the body to help keep those really supported. So your spine can always be supported by the abdominals when we're coming into extension through the upper back or through the legs. So I hope you work well with those and you enjoy them, and I'll see you next week.